there was one previous study that we could find on this issue specifically, which found that only about 8% of the coverage was about the substance of the issue and 92% was about the chatter, the protests and arguments and conflict and some unreasoned debate around the issue. We were interested to see whether political leanings of a newspaper had any influence on this, and of course that's difficult to measure, but we looked at who papers endorsed in the 2008 presidential election in the U.S., and if they endorsed Obama, they're labeled as liberal, conservative for Kane, and if they didn't endorse, we called them centrist. So dependent variables here were tone, whether the tone was political or non-political, and we defined that in very simple terms. It was described as the Democratic health care reform or Obama's health care plan. We termed that as political. Anything else, pretty much, unless it was directly connected to the party or Obama, we described that as non-political. We looked at story placement. Of course, from a branding perspective or a public relations perspective, the more prominent the issue or brand, if you will, is located in a story, the more notice it's going to get. Headline, obviously, more notice than buried in the bottom of the story. And we also looked at page placement, front page, section, front or inside page, and then the topic, whether it was substance or chatter. Here's a couple of examples of what we consider chatter. Specific provisions in the bill would increase healthcare costs, reduce coverage options, and disrupt current insurance arrangements. Suggested healthcare reform could actually cut the number of abortions. These are more factually substance-based sorts of descriptions that really just got at the details of the plan, okay? Came up with 5 hypotheses. First, that the newspaper coverage would focus more on the chatter rather than the substance. That liberal papers would cover the substance more so than conservative or centrist papers. And that placement of on this debate would be more prominent in liberal papers on stories, also on pages, and that conservative papers would more likely associate healthcare reform with the Democratic Party, or in other words, politicize.